All right, you guys. So we're live and we're back, and I am in here with my girl Dominique from Sports Tea, but she does a whole lot of other great topics, and you'll see her frequently on here with me. And so salute to everybody that is in the chat. I appreciate all of you guys that is going to hop in. Dominique, you can introduce yourself. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me, Ticket.
Uh-huh. Hey, turn your mic up a little bit. Hey, can everybody hear us? You guys press one in the comments if y'all can hear us. Say something else.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you good now. You good. Okay.
Alrighty. Thanks for having me.
Uh-huh. Can everybody hear us in the comments? Y'all give me a verification in the comment section and press one if you guys can hear me. And we're gonna go over what's going on, man, because a lot of explosive stuff is going on. So basically, up until this point, Cassie had basically spoken about a situation with Drake. And basically she wanted to go to a festival. And Drake, she basically said that he was going to, I guess, be performing at this place. And that when Diddy found out, he came in and basically she got a beating after that from Diddy. She said that he beat her, right? And so um, she says that that's pretty much where we had left off before the break. But then when it came back, they had some discussion over the break because they sent the jury to eat lunch. Everybody went to eat lunch. They came back, talked about, Cassie and a couple people of a witness. And so the judge says basically that as to Exhibit 619, the objection to the defendant's proposal is overruled. It says, let's have Mrs. Ventura back, then we'll bring in our jury. So the jury is coming in, and they came in, and basically the government says, I have a binder for the court. The government says, it says the gallery will not be able to see these exhibits. Then it says, Mrs. Ventura, I will show you some exhibits. Exhibit 2A 404, who is it? She asked. And Cassie says she worked for Sean. Then the government says, well, we will call her Mia. And it says, when you gave your devices to the government, were they working? Is the question. And so Cassie says, no, they were broken. So she says when she gave her devices to the government, her devices were broken. And the government says, well, put up 602A, the exhibit for Mrs. Ventura and the jury only. And they asked her, what's on your skin? So I suppose she's naked, right? I suppose she's naked, right? And so as they put up the picture, they asked her, when did Sean first hurt you physically? And Cassie said it started in the first year. So this is when she was 19. This man was putting hands on this girl. That's when he met her. When she was 19, he's putting hands on her. So then it goes on, and they asked her what staffer were present when Sean was physical with you. And the defense says objection, physical is vague. The government says punching, hitting you. And the government says, when did Sean first use violence on you? And Cassie said in New York City, we were in a car with his security and he knocked me around. And the government said, well, what did he do? And Cassie said he hit me inside of the head. I fell to the floor of his Escalade. And then the government says in January of 2009, did you attend an event with Sean in LA? She said, yes. The government said, what happened as you left? She said, I've been speaking to a producer about music. Sean called me a slut. I hit him in the face. I had been drinking. And the government said, did you see any injuries? She said, no. So basically, Cassie said she'd been speaking to a producer about music. Diddy called her a slut, so she hit him in the face. And she said she had been drinking. And so she said she didn't see any injuries when she hit, you know, Puff in the face. She said she didn't see any injuries on him when she hit him. So it goes on beyond that. And it says, Cassie says, I was on the floor of the car. He stomped on my face. And then the government said, how long did this last? Cassie said this man stomped on her face for 10 minutes. And then she said, I tried to get away, but Sean's security brought me back. And she said, the government official said, who? The prosecutor said, who? And Cassie said, Roger Bonds. Now, Roger Bonds is a security guard. Has done a lot of interviews on social media. He was a security guard for Bad Boy and for Puff back in the days. So uh, the government asked her, well, what did they tell me? And Cassie says they told you. Cassie said they told her to go to a hotel. And so Cassie said they snuck her into a hotel and covered her up so no one could see her face. And then the government asked, well, how long were you at the London hotel? Cassie said a week, a little more. An assistant brought me ice cream. The government said, what was the assistant's name? And Cassie Ventura says, Genevieve, something like that, some crazy name. And the government said, well, did you feel you could leave the London hotel? And Cassie said, no, I understood his capability, his access to guns, the threats he made. And so the government says, when you were taken to the hotel, were you taken to the hotel after the assault? And Cassie says, no. And the government says, did you know that this assault incident was reported? And Cassie says, I know there was a blind item on the internet without our names. And the government said, who raised that blind item to you? And Cassie said, my mother. And the defense said, objection. And the government says, not for the truth. And the judge says, overruled. And so, man, this is just a devastating situation. What are your thoughts so far on just all the things you've heard so far in this case, Dominique?
My gosh, honestly, it's lining up with Cassie's 35-page lawsuit against him. It's almost like every single thing that we read that she wrote in that, it's just playing out in this court case and more. So
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely, it's heartbreaking to hear, but it feels like we need to know. We need to know what's going on.
Let me ask you a question. You being a woman, did you have the same mindset at 19 that you had probably at 28, 29?
No, absolutely not. And I think that when you're dating, especially when you're dating as a teenager, young adult, early, late teens, early 20s, your tastes are going to change so much. What you're attracted to when you're 19, probably money, power, things like that. Oftentimes we look at older men and we're impressed by that. And then once we get older, we might realize that, hey, that person was really just trying to, control me. They're older than me. A lot of times, women, we fall into this place of, looking to older men, and it changes. It changes so much what you're interested in.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that, and I don't want to be disrespectful, I just want to ask you a real question. Do you think that, and we're live, everybody, do you think that when people say, hey, man, well, Cassie was hitting him too, do you think that, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about people who say, hey, women need to hold responsibility as well?
I think that no one should put their hands on anybody. That's what I really believe. But I do think that when you're in an abusive relationship, it turns to that oftentimes. Like, you begin to make excuses for that person and you're scared of them probably initially. You're in fear of, maybe telling maybe a brother, a cousin, a father. You don't want someone who's close to you and your family to put themselves at risk by, going after that person if you should speak up. It's a very abuse. There's also sorts of different stages of abuse. So I think, yeah.
No, why do you think Cassie stayed? Because everybody's upset saying, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she just leave? And I have my answer, but I want to ask you your answer. I don't want to interject and make you and basically guide you through whatever. Let me hear what you have to say.
I think those people are so misguided and so ignorant as to how abuse, coercive control works and things of that nature. And it's really disappointing when those narratives come out because abuse isn't as simple as, oh, this person hit me, I'm going to leave. That's not how it works when you're dealing with people who are in positions of power and they are abusing their power. So Diddy is a very powerful person that obviously was wielding control over Cassie, her career. She couldn't put out music. There were so many things that she couldn't live. She couldn't even have access to a phone. She didn't have access to, her own medical records. Diddy had access to all of that. and she couldn't do anything. She couldn't live. That's how powerful he was.
Now, let me ask you this question. Um, how do you feel about uh, people saying that, oh, well, this isn't sex trafficking, this is just domestic violence case? How do you feel about that?
I think that's also just it's ignorance. That's where it comes from. People don't know the law as well as they think they do. These people that are saying that, are they doctors? Are they lawyers? What do they know about domestic abuse or sex trafficking? They don't know how the law is functioning. And honestly, the laws surrounding sex trafficking, RICO cases, all kinds of things like that, they continue to evolve. And federal cases, the way that they are putting this evidence together, they're showing how what he was doing was sex trafficking, how what he's doing is really just like honestly a larger situation of like organized crime. RICO, it's a RICO case essentially.
Right. You guys hit the like button. We got almost 2,500 people here in around 10 minutes. But okay, so let me ask you this. So, um, when you were 19 years old, 20 years old, how was your mind? Give me more examples of how your mentality was different than when you got older.
I mean, I was in college. I had, the same boyfriend for all of my college years. And I think my mind, when I was 19, I thought that things were supposed to go a certain way. I was supposed to get married out of college. I was supposed to, do everything that I was taught. And so I was sort of programmed in a certain way to want certain things, believe in certain things. You're raised a certain way. And I think most women are programmed to, to want marriage and kids and things of that nature. And I think, as I went on in school, I realized different goals that I had and different things that I wanted for myself outside of a relationship. So it's just so interesting how my mindset changed. I thought that I was going to be married and have kids probably by the time I was 25. And things just where you think your life is headed, it totally changes. And what you want when you're 19 versus, I think, even by the time I graduated, what I wanted was different. I thought that I was going to be a lawyer at the by the time that I came out of school. I thought I was going on to law school, and that changed. I went into investment banking and I wanted a different career. So and that's just a matter of a 4-year span.
Yeah, let me cook this dusty ass low budget looking Tyrese in here, but your name is Tyree, not Tyrese. You said she should have stayed with Ryan Leslie. How? When she was doing music, clown? She was doing music. Ryan Leslie pushed her to sign with Diddy and Bad Boy. You sound like an idiot. You look like a low budget, dusty ass, extra chocolate Tyrese. Sit down, brother, and shut the hell up. You guys are embarrassment, man. You come in here saying stupidity all the time. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man.
You want to know what's so embarrassing about that comment, though, Ticket? What's so embarrassing about that comment is that Ryan Leslie was also very much so older than Cassie when they were dating. So
see, I didn't even know that. See, I just thought he was managing her musically. I didn't even know he was dating her.
Because it was a secret. It's an inappropriate relationship. Should you
That's
really
crazy.
date your artist? No, right? So he doesn't even really like to talk about the relationship because he was so much older than her and it was so inappropriate. So she just went from one older man that, probably wasn't right for her, probably trying to control her career and tell her what to do and take advantage, to another that was way more powerful, way more abusive. And abuse is not just about putting your hands on somebody. And that's, I think, what a lot of people fail to see.
All right. So, okay, now we got some more updates. So apparently Cassie, she's saying that this some of this stuff was before FaceTime because they said there was an incident reported about violence with her being assaulted. She said this is before FaceTime was very popular. So I could hide myself, she said. She asked if it was me, her mother. And the government said, "What did you say?" And she said she told her mother no. She lied to her mother. She says, "I did not want my mother to know that something of that magnitude, uh, you know, had happened and be in danger. She didn't want her mother to be in danger either by knowing about this. That's how she was fearing." And then the government says, "When you went to a party with your girlfriends, what happened?" Cassie said, "I saw executives from BET. Then I heard that Sean was there." And the government said, "What did you do?" Cassie said, "I left. I ran out as fast as I could." Cassie said, "Why?" I mean, the government said why, and Cassie said, "I thought he was angry." So they're clearly trying to show that she was in fear of this man. Listen, they talked about her having multiple urinary tract infections, all of these things from these freak offs. What person want to be put through hours long freak offs, 4 days a week, all this stuff for 10 years, and you think they're just happy about this? Like, at some point in time, you gotta like, you have all these infections, all these things happening to you. She said she expressed it to Diddy. She said Diddy showed her a video of her freaking off on tape and threatened to reveal it to the world and humiliate her. I don't, like I said before, that's why I don't get how some of these people even accept themselves just by even capping for this dude. To me, with all the things you've seen about this dude, you would want him to be out of society. A dude like this, in my opinion, don't deserve to be in natural society. You stomping on people's heads, you kicking people, you beating people up, you beating women up. Like I said before, this isn't human. This is beyond immoral, in my opinion. And so my thing is that I'm already seeing where they're getting him on the solicitation of prostitution, all these other charges. Now you're seeing where they're putting the RICO Act together as far as the beatings, the coercion, all these other things. And to the brother who said, "Man, stop it," no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop, brother. I'm gonna keep going. You got a problem with it, you can take your ass, step on out of here, bro. Ain't nobody putting no handcuffs on you and force you to sit over here in this channel. What the hell wrong with you, man? Get your ass out of here. It's like the judge said. She didn't have no reason. I'm going to say it again. Cassie had no... Think about this, Dominique. Cassie's out here. By exposing Diddy, she's exposing herself. That's what these idiots don't understand. She have no reason to lie. She already got $30 million. She could have walked off. Period. She's already had the $30 million. She could have walked off into the sunset, had her kids, and be good for life. She didn't have to come out here, because exposing him exposes her too. What woman wants to know two dudes urinated in her mouth? What woman wants the whole world to know that she had urinary tract infections and all these other infections and stuff like that? What woman wants the world to know that? That's out here capping. That's why I said Umar Johnson don't need to say another word until the school is open. I don't want to hear nothing else from him until the school is open and running and his kids in the school, period. And these other clowns that's capping, these dudes is sad. But to see this type of situation like this, that girl, and I totally agree with what the judge ruled on. She had nothing to gain because she was going to put herself in it. Now look how she's getting humiliated in the media. And she's telling the people her story, and she's getting humiliated for telling her story. So, and she knew that was going to happen, and she still put her name on it, came out here and spoke in public. So she could have took the $30 million, walked off, not said nothing, and been good for life. But her doing this, what does it do? It helps take a monster off the streets that's terrorizing and demonizing these other women. You know what I'm saying? And it prevents possible other situations from this clown. Like I said before, it's disgusting, man. You've been doing this for all these years. You terrorize this woman, and everybody says, "Oh, why couldn't she just walk away?" Oh, well, why didn't somebody say, why didn't this happen with J-Lo? J-Lo was not financially dependent or anything on Diddy. When J-Lo went to Diddy, she was already famous, already doing movies, already had her own money, already had her own resources, already had her own security. Diddy wasn't going to pull that off on J-Lo like that. J-Lo she didn't need to depend on Diddy. When Diddy got Cassie, Cassie was a baby, didn't have nothing. So she really was dependent on him. And you're signing a 10-album contract with the guy. I don't understand, people. I'm just being honest with you. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, Ticket, I couldn't agree more. When you take a look at this situation, like for people to compare J-Lo to Cassie, J-Lo is already a successful actress, and who knows what happened in that relationship. People are acting like they know. She is a celebrity. Do you think if something happened to her, she's going to be willing to speak out? When she's been asked in public about her relationship with Diddy, she storms off. She refuses to answer any questions. If everything was fine, why can't she just say it? Right? If she didn't face any abuse with him or everything was just A-okay, why won't she speak out about anything? She was willing to speak out, for it during this election, but not about this. And it's just totally crazy to me why people compare the two. Cassie was 19 years old. She was clearly abused. We're taking a look at this video and people are sitting up there saying she wanted this. This is what she wanted. For anybody to think that, they are absolutely insane.
Oh, so we're here it now. Now comes Kid Cudi. Okay, so she said she ran out of BET on the last update we gave, right? So, and we have 3,400 people. You guys smash the like button, and I want to drop Dominique's channel in here, so you guys can all go subscribe to her channel. We also do sports together. We're gonna be doing sports shows together, so you guys can also subscribe to her channel as well, and you can catch out all of her content. And we're gonna be doing sports channels together and everything as well. But let me say this: now comes Kid Cudi, and this is what we're waiting on. The government asked Cassie, did he come to the hotel where you were staying? Cassie said, yes, Diddy came. And he beat her up and called her names, and her face was bruised yet again. The government said, this photo, and they showed Cassie a photo. And they say, who is it? Cassie said, that's Scott Muscudi, known as Kid Cudi. We dated in 2011. Here we go. The government says, did Sean find out? Cassie said, yes, in my phone. Cassie says Sean went through my phone during a freak off. He found an email. The government said, what about? Cassie says, taking my toiletry bag to Scott's the next day, right? To Kid Cudi's house the next day, right? Sean put a wine opener in his hand and threatened me. I called Kid Cudi on a burner phone. The government said, where did you go? Now we get to the Kid Cudi part. So this is where they're going to talk about Kid Cudi's car getting blown into oblivion, I believe. But, man, this is crazy, man. I mean, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Him going through the girl's phone, going through her emails and stuff like that. And she said he went through her phone during a freak off. You know? So this is all crazy work, man. You know? And she said she dated Kid Cudi in 2011. So, yeah, and there was rumors that, you know, Kid Cudi's car was blown up and things like that. We're going to find out about that in court maybe today. But, you know, what, let me ask you this. What do you think should happen to, because a lot of people are upset saying, oh, man, you know, everybody that committed crime should be punished. But everybody knows that in a case like this, they're going to get a lot of people to snitch, give testimony so that they won't be punished, so that they can give up the big dog. In this case, they're trying to say the big dog is Diddy. What do you think about the people who are saying that it's unfair that all the other people are being uncharged and they should be charged and Cassie should be charged too and all this other stuff? What do you think about that?
It's all just deflection. It's whataboutism. You know, when Harvey Weinstein was going through his trial, it was what about this person? What about that person? Right now, we're talking about Diddy, and that's who's on trial. So I don't want to hear about anybody else. All these other people that are involved, they were a part of the enterprise. They were working for Diddy. It's just like when, you know, there's a huge like mafia case or, you know, a big drug trafficking case. They're not going after the tiny people that were working for the big drug lord or, you know, the mafioso. They want the top person. And Diddy is the highest level that, you know, they've found in this situation, and who knows where it goes up to. But right now we're focused on Diddy. So everybody else, people want to focus on that. It's just like the R. Kelly trial when people were saying that, oh, the parents need to be in jail. Okay, that's a separate issue. Right now we're talking about this.
Rashid the Great says, thought only women go through a phone. Sean hadn't said anything about Cassie going through her phone, his phone. I didn't see anything about that in the paperwork where Cassie's going through his phone. We're talking about this individual situation is what we're referring to. So we're talking about the control in this situation that Diddy has had over this woman, as far as just going through her things, taking her things when he wanted, like she's a little child and stuff like that. Like she said, taking her phone and her personal laptop and stuff like that for as long as he wanted before giving it back to her. What type of time is that? You got her on punishment? It just don't make no sense whatsoever, man. To me, you know. And when you have a history, a lifetime, when you have artists that have come out against you and spoken so negatively of you, don't like you, didn't like working with you, said all of these other things. You understand what I'm saying? Hitman X says what is she yapping about? Harvey was the kingpin too. That's why we're asking, where was this energy for white men? We have it. We have it. But see, here's the problem. Harvey Weinstein, and let me say this again. Harvey Weinstein is not as popular in the social world as Sean Diddy Combs. So obviously Sean Diddy Combs is going to get more popularity because he's more popular. See, that's the thing. For example, if you're talking basketball, Hitman, the superstar players are going to get more publicity for anything they do, good or bad, than the bench players. That's how it goes because they're more known. So when you look at this situation like this, since you're yapping, right, I'm going to cook your ass too. So that's what we're saying right there. That's the reason why he's getting the most attention, because he was the most out there. He was the most flashy. He was the most all of these things. So everybody, more people know publicly who Diddy is than they know Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was the guy who was mainly behind the scenes in Hollywood. Diddy was out front in front of the world doing everything. Stop capping, bruh, and playing dumb. You just got cooked. You just got cooked. And you look cooked too. You look like you got cooked. You just got cooked. Period. You just got cooked. Get out of here with that fake pro-black shit with a dude who's out here beating on black women, man. Get your ass out of here with that shit, bro. Nobody want to hear that today, man.
But what is he
Nobody want to hear that today.
about? What is he talking about with the energy for white men? Does he not realize that an entire movement was created because of Harvey Weinstein? Me Too was formed out of that. And he got 16 years in jail, currently being retried again in New York. He was convicted and sentenced to 23 years. So, Diddy, he was getting away with this for much longer than Harvey Weinstein. If people recall, that started in 2017. So
right.
Diddy,
Look, he's talking about where's the energy. Look at all the energy Epstein had, Dominique. Epstein, everybody was talking about Epstein. They still talk about Epstein. He didn't even get the trial and they still talking about Epstein.
It's just these people that are in this audience, some of them probably just wasn't even paying attention. A lot of what we pay attention to is what we're going to know about. So if we don't know anything about Harvey Weinstein, if we're looking at more urban culture, black culture, why would we have been paying attention to that case? So, if you don't know what the energy was, that's great. But don't say that there was no energy when there was an entire movement created.
That's a great point. It was an entire Me Too movement created behind Harvey Weinstein. That's where the whole Me Too movement came. So that is true. That's 1,000% true. And then, like I said, back to the other situation we talked about was Epstein. His situation was the most publicized, pretty much next to Diddy. His situation was just as big. Everybody talked about the Epstein situation. I'm talking about across all ethnicities, everything. They were all talking about Epstein. So what is he talking about?
They made a Netflix documentary about it. Diddy's documentaries haven't hit Netflix yet. They've been on Tubi. So again, miss us with this nonsense. Right.
So let's get to the next part, because they're talking about Kid Cudi now, right? And Hitman, let me ask you a question. Do you accept the way Diddy beat on that woman? How do you feel about that, Hitman? How do you feel about that? You said, did we talk about the names on the list? Bro, the list that was released was pretty much the same list that they released before. It wasn't no new names. It wasn't nothing that was outrageous that we saw that was new. But we did talk about the people that was on that list. But it wasn't when Trump released that list, that was the same names that he had released before. It wasn't nothing new. So hold on, you guys. We got an update from the courthouse. So they're talking about Kid Cudi, right? So it says that they asked her, where did she go? When Sean had the wine opener in his hand, right? And threatened her. And she said she called Kid Cudi on her burner phone. Now, the government asked her, where did you go? She said she went to Kid Cudi's house. She says, then I talked with Capricorn Clark, one of Sean's assistants. And the government says, then what? Cassie says, then I went to the house Sean was staying at. He told me he would release videos and hurt Kid Cudi and I. The government asked Cassie, what videos? What videos? Cassie said, freak off videos of me. is what Cassie said, that Diddy said he was going to release of her, right? He said he was going to release of that, right? So, he is being charged with hitting. Hold on, let me cook this dude. He is being charged with hitting Cassie, Hitman X. See, you're an idiot, Hitman X. I'm gonna tell you why. He is being charged with hitting Cassie. He is being charged. Stop falling for the stupidity. He is being charged with hitting Cassie. You want me to prove it? I hope you got your glasses on. I hope you got your glasses on. He 1000% is being accused with hitting Cassie. There's the indictment right there. He's not being charged with hitting Cassie. He's a goddamn lie. Straight up. Hitman. Now, since you said that, I'm going to burn your ass up. Indictment. Page 1. Racketeering conspiracy. Count 1. This is for you, Hitman. I'm going to annihilate your ass. Grand slam. Pardon me, B. The grand jury charges. Count 1. Racketeering conspiracy. He's being charged with grand jury charges. For decades, Sean Combs, the defendant, abused. He's being charged with abuse, idiot. Threatened and coerced women. He's being charged with that. Around him to fulfill his sexual desire. He's being charged with beating these women and abusing these women in order to fulfill what he wanted to do sexually, nigga. It's on page 1. It's on page 1. You want to keep playing? You want to keep doing this? He's also being accused of, among other crimes, sex trafficking. He says, I don't see Cassie's name. Cassie's literally victim number 1. Here we go right here. You want to play this game? It's right here, sir. It's right here. Sean Combs, the defendant, was recurrent. Abuse by Sean Combs, the defendant, was recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least or in about 2009 and for continuing years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching. This is all he being charged with, nigga. It's in the indictment. Punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance where they're talking about Cassie Ventura, nigga. One instance at the LA hotel in or about March of 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman when she was attempting to leave. Nigga, it's right there in the paperwork, nigga. And everybody telling me to take his ring, go take his ring. That's my boy. He need to get cooked, though. He need to get cooked, though. That's my boy. He need to get cooked. Lisa, I got you next time I come in here. Because I'm in StreamYard and I'm gonna get you next time I come in here. He need to get cooked. Now what you gonna say now, Hitman? Y'all ain't even read the indictment. Come on, he ain't being charged. Nigga, he's being charged with that under the RICO. He got 5 different counts against him. Prostitution counts, sex trafficking counts, racketeering counts. Ether is right there in the paperwork. You talking about he ain't him being charged with Cassie? It's right there in the paperwork. Right there. On page 2, nigga. You see that number 2 at the bottom of the screen? It's on page 2, dog. Right there. He's being charged with, right here. The grand jury charges, nigga. He's being charged with that. Literally. That is the biggest lie people are telling on the internet. He's not being charged with that, man. You said you're not going to argue with me because you got stir-fried, nigga. You can't argue. When you get cooked like that, you cannot argue. You said he's not being charged with that. He's literally being charged with that. It's in the indictment on the paperwork, stamped, signed, and sealed, and delivered right there. And I blew it up just so you can read it better. It's right there. Stop listening to people who don't know what the hell they talking about, man. Buffoonery. He's literally being charged with all that. It's called a RICO Act. All that falls under the racketeering conspiracy, brother. And they specifically mention the Cassie situation in that tape. Stir fry. Now, let's get to the next statements that happened in court. Shout out to my boy. I love you, Hitman, but I had to cook you, dog. I got love for you, Hitman. You know what I'm saying? You had to get cooked right there, though. You deserve to get cooked right there. You deserve to get cooked. You my brother, though. I ain't gonna disrespect you. See, this is the one thing about me. The guys I actually got love for, if I disagree with you, I'm not gonna come in here and just say, because I disagree with some of my brothers on this. That's cool. Now, if you a nigga around here looking like, if you a nigga running around here looking like Bookman, nah, that's something different. Bookman, man, nah, he a hater, straight up. He's a capper and he's a liar, point blank, period. Let me get to y'all on this. So, Cassie says she went to Kid Cudi's house. Then, yeah, Hitman been over here for the longest, y'all. Y'all, that's my boy, man. Me and Hitman go at it all the time. Y'all don't know, you just don't know. It says, then I talked to Capricorn Clark, who is one of Diddy's assistants. The government says, then what? Cassie says, I went to the house Sean was staying at. He told me he would release videos, hurt Scott and I. The government said, which videos? Cassie said, Diddy said he's going to release the freak off videos of me. Cassie says Sean kicked her in the back, and she says she had a bruise, right? Then, right, the government says, where did you go? Cassie says she went to her hotel, Dominique, with a burner phone. She said the room was tore up. Someone peed all over the floor, pooped in the toilet and didn't flush it. It was gross. This was just before Christmas, she said. She said that I sent an email to my mom and to Capricorn from my flight to Boston and Connecticut. The government said, what did you write? Cassie says that Sean said he would release the tape of me on Christmas. And he'd had Scott, who is Kid Cudi, and I hurt. He said he would be out of the country then. The government said, what are these photographs? Cassie said, and they show her photographs. Cassie said, my mother took these photos in Connecticut of the bruises on my back. So her mother actually took pictures of these bruises on Cassie's back. Cassie kept the receipts of this the whole time, the beatings. The government says, were you entirely honest with your mother about the abuse? Cassie says, no. I said this was the first time. She told her mother that was only the first time. The government said, did you tell her about the freak offs? Cassie said, no. Now, let me ask you about that. So Cassie didn't want to tell her mother. How do you see that situation as a girl like that going through that type of stuff, but not want to tell her mother, like, did it happen before? Now, she said she told her mother that was like the first time, I guess, that her and Diddy, that got violent, or that Diddy got violent with her, but she said she didn't tell her mom about the freak offs. How do you feel about that?
If anybody's ever seen a Lifetime movie, all of this tracks. I mean, this is a classic story of abuse. It's just more magnified because it's Diddy and Cassie. That's all that this is. I mean, her not wanting to tell her mother that she was participating in freak offs. I mean, nobody would want to share that with their mother. And for her to lie and say it was the first time, of course, because she didn't want her mother to be in worry for her. Can you imagine being a mom and your child is being abused? You're going to be wrought with worry, with fear. Every time they leave the house, you're going to be worried for them. So I can't possibly imagine how Cassie would want to share this with her mother or her father or anybody in her family. But she had to do something. And she was trying to make sure that she had some evidence of something, if she was at a point where something really, really bad happened to her. And I mean, I don't blame her for going about it this way. She was in fear. She was in fear for her life. Then this relationship with Diddy is affecting other people. Anybody when she tried to escape from him, she's trying to go into the arms of another man, and look at what happens. His career, his life is at risk as a result of dating her. So she has literally no one to turn to.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this question. How do you think that Diddy, like, how do you think all these women, because people will say, hey, well, these women are with Diddy for the money. Do you agree with that? Because I think in some cases, I'm going to be honest with you, in some cases, you do have those issues where a woman wants to be with a guy or they stay with a guy because of the financial security. Now, some cases, like this one, I think that Cassie was stuck in a situation where she signed to a 10 album deal with this guy, and he only put out one album in all those years they were together. And she said she had hundreds of songs, and he always just wanted her to do freak offs. So she really wasn't even being able to put out music. And so he basically controlled her career. She didn't have the money to buy, herself out of the contract. So, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are is that like Cassie wasn't some generational talent. She was not Beyonce. She's not Adele level singer, right? So when you think about it, she was in a 10 album deal. Her life was basically signed away to Diddy. And what I think about why she might have stayed with him, was it for the money? What did she really love him? I'm sure she convinced herself that she loved him. I'm sure she thought she did. And oftentimes, when someone's abusing you, mistreating you, you think you love that person so much. You think that's what love is supposed to be like. And you're trying to figure out, why is this happening to me? How could he treat me like this? What do I need to do differently so that he won't treat me that way? That's oftentimes what goes through your mind. And I think that for sure Cassie was with Diddy for the money. That doesn't mean that she didn't love him. It doesn't mean that she wasn't abused. That was just one of the things that she's attracted to. Women, I mean, think about, we have thousands of people watching this live right now. How many women watching this would just sign up to be with a broke man? Who wants to be with somebody that has no
Yeah,
money?
yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. No, hold on. I'm glad you went there. So let's hold on. I'm glad you went there. So let's go there. Right. So is that is that uh is that do you feel a way about that? Like like for example, if you want like what type of man do you think women generally look for? Men with money that are successful, things like that.
I think we all look for the total package. We want a man that is powerful, that has money, that we feel safe with. I think, for me, I look for feeling safe with a person. I look Money is not really in the equation for me, but it's how I set my life up, right? But when you're younger, you create this checklist. Oh, I want a man that's handsome, someone with money, somebody that can take care of me, maybe someone that is powerful, that I feel safe with, someone who's smart, someone who can teach me something. A 19-year-old woman dating a man who's much older, we're looking to feel protected, we're looking to feel cared for, we're looking to learn something oftentimes. But again, those things change. And I think even as an older, like, I don't want to date somebody that has money problems. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't even want that to be in like the equation. Are there women that date men that have money problems? For sure. And there's a variety of reasons why they do, but nobody's looking for that. When a woman thinks of their ideal man, they're not thinking, "Oh, my ideal man doesn't have any money. He's poor." That nobody thinks like that.
Now, let me ask you this question: do you think if a woman decides to date a certain type of dude, and you know, let me give you an example. Um, like if a woman uh dates a guy who she knows is a criminal,
Mhm.
right? And then she ends up in involved in criminal activity, and later on she's upset. Do you? I mean, because a lot of people are saying, hey, they blame Cassie. A lot of people online are saying it's Cassie's fault for getting involved with him. But I think that they're not looking at the element again that she was 19 years old and she was signed to him first. He approached her. She didn't approach him for a relationship or a record deal. He approached her after he talked with Ryan Leslie. So, you know,
Cassie was already ticket. That's the thing. Cassie was already involved with someone that she thought could help move her career forward. And I'm not saying that. So what I think that people don't understand is that two things can be true. She could have been, on the prowl for men that were going to help her move her career forward. A lot of women don't date men that can't do anything for them. That doesn't mean that they deserve to be abused. And
do
that's the
you
problem that people have.
do you think that? Let me ask you this question. I've never heard anybody talk about this, but I'm
Mhm.
going to bring this up to you right now. I think this, and I'm just going to tell you straight up what I think. I don't think Diddy believed in her talent like that. Because, and here's, I'm going to tell you why. I think Diddy signed her strictly for the sex. And I'm going to tell you why. You think Diddy would have allowed her not to put out music if she had a voice like Mary J. Blige?
Absolutely not. And I agree with you. He never believed in her. I just told you, she was not some generational talent. She was not a singer. I don't know if you guys remember this years ago, several years ago. And you're right, Ticket. He never believed in her talent. Does anybody remember when she was performing the Me and You song and he literally got up and was like, boo, boo? He was booing her. He never thought she was good. He never thought she could sing. He's never said anything complimentary about her voice. If anything, he thought that she looked hot, could dance. Cassie, just when we take a look at her talent, if we really break it down and we're real, she could dance really well. She looked like a pop, like she could be a pop star, but she wasn't, she didn't have a voice like Adele. She doesn't have a voice like Beyonce. She
Mhm.
wasn't that kind of talent. She was a pop artist, and he didn't believe in her. He was
Nobody, Dominique,
booing her,
nobody,
booing her.
no, Dominique, nobody thought about that. Nobody thought about, damn, he might not even have ever believed. Because think about this. First of all, Diddy's a businessman too. So if he feel like, man, she the hottest thing I can make money off of her, he's gonna put out content. He's not gonna let that sit on the shelf if she hot like that. He's gonna put out content and get money because he's gonna get money in that time if she's not making money for him. As far as that, so I don't believe that he believed in her talent at all. And there's one video on YouTube that's going viral, that went viral, of Diddy and Cassie. They were in this meeting, and Diddy was like, "Yeah, I got some real interesting things and creative things I'm thinking about doing with her." Putting out, she's looking at him, just rolling her eyes, like, "Yeah, you a lying ass." You know what I'm saying? She just gave him the eye roll, like he's lying, like she know he was lying to all these executives that were sitting around at the table when he said it's like she had been told this over and over and over again. And I'm just gonna tell you, I don't think that I don't think he believed in her musically. I don't think that he thought that. I think that he believed in her sexually. You know?
I think he believed that he could use her dream of being this big star against her. I believed he thought that he could manipulate her and that he could use the fact that she wasn't this amazing talent against her. That's exactly what he did. If you think that Cassie thought that she was some excellent singer, then I've got a Golden Gate Bridge to sell you. She didn't believe in herself as being this amazing singer, but she wanted this career. Cassie modeled. She wasn't just like a singer. She was somebody who, she was an influencer. She was in fashion. She was modeling. She was doing a bunch of different things. So, the
Mhm.
music was something that she was able to build off of her modeling career and the other, kinds of work that she was doing in entertainment. But I don't think singing was something that she even thought that she was so good at. And so he used that against her in order to control her and manipulate her career the whole time.
Yeah, I noticed a pattern a little bit too from allegations you hear. Like the people that he had been aggressive with as far as women, they all seem to have more lighthearted personalities, like Cassie, like the allegations you heard against him and Kim, lighthearted, like the girl Gina seems lighthearted. But then you never heard about him beating on uh Carisha. You never heard about him beating on her. You never heard about him beating on Young Miami. You know why? Because Young Miami can get ratchet as hell. She understands the streets. You never heard about him beating on J Lo. J Lo called herself Jenny from the block. She was already schooled to the game, in my opinion. So you never heard of him beating on women like that. That was going, I noticed that. I noticed that little pattern with him. And did
What's
he like
funny though,
those?
what's interesting though about
Go ahead.
J-Lo is there was an interview she did a while back where she said that, there was a person that she was with that got very rough with her. And she didn't reveal who it was, but they were physical with her in a way that she couldn't handle. And so she never
Mm,
revealed who that person was, but could that have been Diddy? Who knows?
mm, mm. Okay, so we got some more updates. All right. So now, uh, they're gonna ask Cassie an hour more questions. So the goal from the government on Cassie says to finish today, the direct and allow the start of the cross examination on Cassie today. And so the judge says bring the witness and the jury back in. So they came back in, and the government says, did anyone come to see you in Connecticut? Cassie says Kid Cudi did for a few days. She said that she ended up breaking it off with Kid Cudi. She said, I broke it off with him. It was too dangerous. The defense said, objection. The judge overruled that. The judge is striking the defense ass out of here. And so Cassie says, Sean said he would hurt both of us. This is leading up now, and you can see where this is leading up. This is leading up, Dominique. where Cassie's going to talk about, in my opinion, that arson situation, and then you're going to see Kid Cudi, in my opinion, and all these other people come in and testify. Diddy's going to do life. They're going to show. They're going to show all the coercion, all the beatings, all of these different things where he controlled this woman's life. All this stuff is showing the control, Dominique. What you think about that?
It is. It's a complete. They're painting this story. They're telling the story pretty much, from the beginning when she's 19 years old, and they're taking us through this entire journey of abuse, and not just abuse, but the organization of it all. The people that he employed to execute this abuse and sex trafficking, arson, attempted murder.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna and I'll be sure spoke about that. And we're gonna see if he comes up in this trial. That's gonna be very interesting as well to see if he comes up in this trial, which I think that he will. But she's talking about the Kid Cudi situation and saying that Diddy basically said he was gonna hurt both of them, and so the government says now listen to this. The government says, where did you go after Connecticut? Now, she broke it off with Kid Cudi in Connecticut. The government said, where did you go after Connecticut? Cassie says, I went to see Sean. He was in Arizona. His son, college. I told my mother I was going to LA for work, so she lied to her mom again. Then the government says, did Sean talk about Kid Cudi's car? Cassie said, Diddy said he wanted Kid Cudi's friends to see Kid Cudi's car blown up. The government said, what happened next? Cassie said, we met Sean, Kid Cudi, and me. Kid Cudi said, what about my vehicle? And Sean said, what vehicle? And that was the end of the meeting. God dog, the government puts up a photo and says, what is this? And Cassie says, me and Sean Kingston, Jamaica, for Sound Clash. Man, this is crazy. Everybody's getting named. Sean King is being named in this now. I mean, Sean Kingston. And Sean Kingston just got got convicted, and he's got to do time. He's getting ready to be sentenced shortly. He just got convicted. You understand what I'm saying? Oh man, my bad. I accidentally blocked the wrong person. Somebody unblocked Space 8 Trail. Oh shit, and unblocked Lenora. I blocked the wrong person. I meant to block Cedar. Yeah, unblock those two people if you can. Do you see them in the chat? Lenora and Space 8 Trail. Yeah, I want to unblock them. I accidentally blocked the wrong one. I'm blocking all these trolls, man. I don't want that negativity around me, man. Y'all go do that somewhere else. Go have a beefcake sausage party on somebody else's channel. You ain't have it over here. Like I said before, I don't roll with Diddy. I don't like how he move. I don't like how he rock. I don't like how he operate. I don't have no respect at all. Period.
It's just crazy how people are defending this. It's just awful.
Listen, it shows you what type of savage world we live in, Dominique. We live in a world where people are, it's a lot of real serious issues going on. People are easy to manipulate. People don't have minds to think for themselves. People have been raised in foolishness. You know what I'm saying? They've been raised without morals, ethics, principles. And so, you see all of these things. All of these things are the aftermath of you know what I'm saying, the BS.
It's very sad, but Ticket, I want to thank you for having me. I do have to jet back to work, but this was so much fun to,
we're gonna link it back up. I'm gonna hit you up. Y'all gonna see us on together all the time, and y'all gonna see me on her channel too. In fact, I'm going to put a link to her channel in the comments. As soon as this video is over, you guys, I'm gonna pin a link to Dominique's YouTube channel in this chat room. Y'all gonna see me over there too. We do a whole lot of stuff. We do this, sports, everything. So we definitely gonna get it done. But we almost got 5,000 people in here watching you. So go ahead, say what you want to say before you leave.
I just want to thank you all for having me. It was really a pleasure. Go ahead and check me out on Sports Tea. Like Ticket said, we cover sports and all sorts of things. So check me out at Sports Tea. And yeah, just
We got our own podcast coming too. I forgot to tell y'all this. Well, it's a secret. It's coming. I promise y'all, it's coming. I'm working on some things, but it's coming. And yeah, you crazy girl. Holla at me.
Ain't no party.
Oh, you crazy. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Hey,
Yeah.
you crazy as hell, girl. Hey, girl, you
Yeah.
crazy as I don't know what, man. You crazy. You crazy for that one.
No, seriously, this case is out of line. But thanks so much for having me, Ticket, and I'll catch you soon, okay? Bye, everyone.
All right, scream at me.
All righty. Salute to everybody in the chat. Have a good day, guys.
All right. So yeah, man, shout out to my girl Dominique for popping up, coming through, and showing love. Y'all already know what it is, you know. And let me shout out all these people, man. I swear, bro, I got like 50 cash apps, man. Bro, I love and appreciate all of y'all. Everybody that's supporting the channel, man. Y'all don't know how much it means. Real talk. You guys don't know how much it means. And I salute to all of you guys. And I appreciate all of y'all. And let me shout y'all out right now, man, because I got a lot of cash apps we ain't even shout out. And so I salute everybody who's just been locked in and, like I said, supporting what we doing, man. Shout out to Tarnisha in the cash app with the donation. She sends a $60 donation. And she says, I'm glad I found this channel. Salute to you, my sister. Shout out to Charlene Dance in the cash app with the donation. She said, your work is excellent. God bless you. Salute to you, my sister. Shout out to Gabrielle in the cash app with the donation. And she said, it's sad hearing Cassie's story. Yeah, it's just, man, it's just, you know, it is, man, you know. And you know, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Cassie made mistakes too as well. But the man doing what he did to her, man, that's unacceptable on all levels. Amber Jenkins, salute to you. I appreciate you. You came through in a PayPal with $100 donation. Salute to you. I appreciate you. Much love to you, my sister. Also, Glenn Harris, he came through with a $50 donation. Salute to you. He said, Cook, you a straight soldier. You already know what it is, bruh. You already know what it is, homie. Salute to you, man. Also, shouts out to Belinda Carmichael. Belinda Carmichael in the cash app with the donation. Salute to you. I appreciate you for coming through, supporting, showing love. Also, shout out to Aretha in the cash app with the donation. And she says, Ticket, what's your other channel? I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna put it in the link after this. What you call it? This video's over with too. Salute to you. I appreciate that. Shout out to Ariel Jefferson in the cash app with the donation. Ariel sent a $25 donation. Salute to you. Shout out to Mr. Vocal Coach Hatcher. Salute to you. He says 500,000 subscribers by the time this case is over with. Tickets. Salute to you, brother. Yeah, y'all smash the like button as y'all come on in here, man. Salute to everybody. I appreciate you for that, brother. Shout out to Ishmael in the cash app with the donation, man. And he says, I just want to see Diddy for 5 minutes. Damn, that's crazy, bro. Man. Shout out to Carol Bryant with the donation. She came through with a 25 spot. She says, you put in that work. You already know. Hard work pays off. You feel me? Shout out to, who is this? Rochelle in the cash app with the donation. I appreciate you. Salute to you. Shout out to Tanya Hardy in the cash app with the $20 donation. She says, keep cooking. Ticket. Salute to you. I appreciate you on that. Shout out to Anton Milton in the cash app with the donation. Anton Milton, salute to you in the cash app with the donation, brother. I appreciate you, man. Much love to you, my brother. Much love to you. Hold on one second, man. What? Hold on. Something going on, y'all. Hold on one second. Let me check something real quick. Check something real quick, y'all. Okay, 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 okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. All right. Shout out to Lawrence Woods in the Cash App with the donation. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate it. Nah, we getting right back to it. Course still going on. Shout out to uh, Shalamar, SHALAMAR, Gilkey, GILKEY. Salute to you for the $20 donation in the Cash App. You said for justice. Shout out to Black Girl Magic in the Cash App with a donation. Salute to you. Um, Shout out to who was this? Shout out to Cornell Stewart in the Cash App with the donation. I appreciate you with the donation. And shout out to my boy Jason Villanari. My boy, that's my boy, what you call it? Follower of Christ in the building. Salute to you, Jason, follower of Christ. I know that's you. Salute to you in the Cash App, bro. Came through with a $25 donation. Salute to you, brother. Appreciate you, man. My boy Jason. I know that's you because I already know your name. So salute to you, dog. Salute to you, brother. Let's keep going. All right. Give y'all the next update. Okay. So Cassie's gonna be on for a whole nother hour, and so we're updated now. So let's get to the updates, you guys. So Cassie says Diddy was, said he was gonna blow up Kid Cudi's car. So Cassie said that her, Diddy, and Kid Cudi met, right? Now she says when they met, right? She says when they met, she says that Kid Cudi asked Diddy, "What about my vehicle?" And Diddy said, "What vehicle?" And that was the end of the meeting. She said they met, and that was the end of the meeting. She said, and the government put up the photo and asked her, "Who is this in this picture?" And Cassie said, "That's Sean Kingston." You know what I'm saying? In Jamaica. Oh, no, excuse me. She said, "That's me and Sean, her and Diddy." My bad, not Sean Kingston. I take that back, y'all. She said, "That's me and Sean and Kingston, not Sean Kingston." She said, "That's me and Diddy in Kingston, Jamaica for Sound Clash." So they were in Kingston, Jamaica, not Sean Kingston. I take that back. The government said, "Were you bruised?" Cassie said, "Yes." The government showed the photo. Why do they keep showing all these places that Cassie's getting beat with all these bruises? Because they're showing y'all Diddy controlled this woman with beating her everywhere he went. The government is laying this case out perfectly. The government is showing y'all that every single where Cassie went, Diddy was whooping on her ass to control her. Force. People don't understand this case because they don't have brains. They are showing you guys every step of the way in this case that this man is beating this woman and coercing this woman and controlling this woman. That's why they keep bringing up every place they go how she's getting beatings everywhere. And that's crazy work. Crazy work. So how's the defense going to come out and say, "Oh, well, you enjoyed the beatings"? How? There's no way they can get around that. And they talking about some, "Oh, well, we accept responsibility for the violence." No, you didn't. You came out and said Cassie was lying about everything at first. Only when the tape came out did you come out and have to admit it. Then you came out and challenged the tape and said they didn't show the full version. Well, we got the full version and we didn't even see nothing different in the full version. We got the full version and it made it look worse because Cassie, she tried to call the security. And she did call the security on your ass. He's a clown. Period. And shout out to Katie Maroney, hashtag the fam. She says, "Thanks with the donation." She says, "Thanks forever. All that you do, Ticket. None but love and respect you. Salute." Shout out to Ellie Rose with the donation. She says, "Ticket, your true definition of manhood. Men are to be protectors and not condone abuse. Only predators protect predators." Nah, I don't respect that. I don't respect what Diddy did to the girl, man. Shit ain't right. It's the difference between right and wrong, man. That nigga was beating this girl ass everywhere she went. That nigga's wrong. He's supposed to be the man. He's supposed to stand on business. He's supposed to be the dude that's moving correctly, that's holding things down the right way, not beating her ass and treating her like a rag doll. That's not. I'm not with that. That's not cool. Ever ain't with that. So the government asked Cassie, because her and Diddy was in Kingston, Jamaica for Sound Clash. The government asked Cassie, were you bruised? And if y'all want to donate, the link's pinned at the top. All you gotta do is click that little white little link at the top and click, and then you can hit the Cash App or PayPal. Right? And shout out to Vanessa Demps for the donation in the Cash App. Salute to you. I appreciate it. Vanessa Demps. And shout out to oh yeah, I already said that one. So salute the other one. All right, so Cassie said she was bruised. And the government said, and this photo, what is it? Cassie said this photo that they're showing her is a picture of her in Sean's bathroom on September the 18th, 2015. The government said, what were you doing there? Cassie said, recuperating from getting beat up by Diddy in Las Vegas. That's crazy. This nigga was beating this girl everywhere, man. That's crazy, man. Crazy work, bro. So then Cassie says, we were having an after party in our suite. I talked to a producer and Sean tapped me on the shoulder, called me into our room and beat me, kicked me as I tried to hide behind the toilet. The government says, what stopped it? Cassie said, D-Rock, once again. D-Rock is always the one stopping Diddy from whooping these girls' ass. That's crazy. Cassie said, D-Rock and James Cruz came in. James Cruz, he gonna bury Diddy. The former president of Bad Boy, he gonna bury Diddy on that stand. He testifying against Diddy. Cassie says, Cassie says it made D-Rock sad. That's crazy, bro. Cassie said D-Rock was sad, bro. And remember, Gina said D-Rock was the only one. Gina said everybody else turned a blind eye. And D-Rock was the only one that stepped in and helped and stopped Diddy. That's crazy, man. Crazy, bro. So Cassie says it made D-Rock sad that Diddy beat her like that. And the government says, what are these communications? And they show her some communications. And Cassie says, it's from D-Rock to me. He says, where you at? It's time to ice your face. Damn, bro. That's sad, man. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up, man. The government says, why? Cassie says, oh, no. The government asked her why. And Cassie says, I had just been beat up by Sean. So D-Rock went to go get Cassie some ice and said, come on, it's time to ice you, put some ice on your face. That's crazy. The government said, were these all the times he beat you? Cassie said, no, there were more. Cassie said, no, there were more. Crazy work, man. Crazy work, man. Crazy work, dog. Unbelievable, man. Ace, that's not how it works, sir. You said those don't know about all these sex trafficking rules. Stop buying women plane tickets because if she comes to see you and gets freaky, she can go to the court and say she was trafficked. No, she can't. That's not true. That's literally a lie. And you're a liar, sir. That's literally a lie. Sex trafficking, you have to prove force, coercion, and fraud. It's sex trafficking, sir. Sex trafficking is not just a person saying, oh, he sent me over here and did it. No. You have to prove that you were forced, coerced, and you have to prove fraud in a sex trafficking case. So you're a liar, sir. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. If you don't believe me, I'll pull up the law again and put it on the page. Right? So the government says to Cassie, with who else did you see Sean be violent? Cassie says, I saw him drag an assistant out of bed. I saw him punch Ellie in his head. One time in Turks and Caicos, he dragged a person. Diddy love dragging people, man. That's crazy, bro. Crazy work. They're going to have these assistants come in talking about how Diddy was beating up people to control her. Man, y'all finna see, man. They finna stand on business on this nigga, man. Y'all that's capping, y'all finna get it. Y'all finna see. This nigga used force and coercion to beat people. This is what he did to control people, right? Cassie says, I believe we had a freak off in Turks and Caicos. The government says, what floor did you live on in 875 Comstock? Cassie said, the 17th floor. The government said, did a friend stay with you? Cassie said, yes. Sean came in and held her and threw her onto the patio furniture out on the balcony. Lord have mercy. This is the when the girl came in the lawsuit and Diddy hung this girl over the balcony. They telling it all, y'all. They telling it all, man. They telling it all. They're telling it all in this one. So it says that Sean came in, held the girl, and threw her onto the patio furniture out on the balcony. Man, on the 17th floor, right? 875 Comstock. Man, this is how he controlled people. Beatings. You understand what? Violence. And then using all the people around him to cover it up. And I'm telling y'all something. The government, they may have charged D-Rock, but gave D-Rock, and we're going to see. I don't know. I don't want to throw something on D-Rock's name. I don't know. But we're going to see if they charge D-Rock or not. They might not have charged D-Rock because he was helping, but I guarantee you they questioned D-Rock. I guarantee you they questioned D-Rock. Now, we're going to find out what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because Cassie ain't the only one. Gina said in her interview that D-Rock was the one that helped her when Diddy beat her up. These people know what time it is with Diddy. And they still defending this demon. Them niggas is on real demon time, bro. You see when the devils is coming out, bro. But, you know, the angels are amongst us. Point blank, period. So Cassie says, I saw Sean bring her back in from over the balcony, then throw her on the patio furniture. The government said, and Kerry Morgan, Cassie said, I saw Sean hit her in the head. The government says, did you get drugs on your own? Cassie said, occasional drug dealers. The O, the X, and the V type of drugs. Man, this is crazy, man. Crazy, bro. Crazy work. Crazy work, man. Cassie said she seen Diddy bring that girl back in from over the balcony and then throw her on the patio furniture. This man hung a girl over the 17th floor balcony, y'all. Crazy work. Unbelievable work, man. Imagine how that girl had been screaming for her life, man. Shout out to Michelle Van Beverhout. Salute to you. She says, and let me go ahead and talk about your comment. She says, I believe the government was involved when Cassie filed a lawsuit against Diddy. It feels like they set him up and wanted her to get paid before they acted. I think she's been working with the FBI for a while. I think you're wrong. And here's the reason why I think you're wrong. You said you believe the government was involved when Cassie filed a lawsuit against Diddy. I think that's false. Right? And I'm going to tell you why I think it's false, what you're saying. Think about one thing. Every other problem Diddy had, he covered it up with payments. Jonathan Oddie, he paid that dude. He tried to bribe the hotel worker. He tried to pay all those other people off instantly. He didn't do that with Cassie. So your theory is cap. Because if Diddy would have paid Cassie, the details of the lawsuit would have never been made public. You would have never seen that video, and we would never be where we're at today. If Diddy would have paid Cassie before the lawsuit dropped. That was Diddy's decision. Period. So, more ether for you. If Diddy would have paid Cassie before the lawsuit dropped, the feds would not have came in because nobody would have known about the lawsuit. Nobody would have known about the details in the lawsuit. The only reason why Cassie dropped the lawsuit is because of the deadline that came up. And the last day came up and Diddy double dog dared her to file that lawsuit. And she filed it. He never thought she would file that lawsuit against him. He thought she was just trying to get him to see if he was going to do it. He never thought she had the strength to do it. It's like the lady Lauren Collin told me that was in the channel last night. She's in the courtroom. She said, Ticket, when Cassie walked in and got on the stand, Diddy was trying to make eye contact with Cassie like he wanted to look at her. And Cassie wouldn't even look at him. Cassie wouldn't even look at him. So he's trying to get that eye contact with her so Cassie won't even look at the man. Now, and I was told that by the girl who's in the court. That's facts. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're going to stand on business for that, right? We're going to stand on business for that. That's facts, right? So, Cassie says that Diddy would put the pills and vitamin C bottle on the sink in the New York apartment. He said you can take them. He had doctors who would write the scripts in the name of an assistant or in my name. Hold on one second, y'all. So, yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. My bad, y'all. I had to check on something real quick. But, yeah, as I told y'all, man. So, to the lady who said that, nah. Because if Diddy would have paid her, the details of the lawsuit would have never came out to the public. When those details came out, everything happened. That's when those details came out. Every single thing happened when those details came out. That's what happened. So, yeah. You guys got to see that. Let me see something here. Shout out to Miss Athlete Matthews 415. She said, keep cooking Diddy ass. I believe, although alleged he has something to do with Quad Studios in my home pot. Well, we're going to find out. All things done in the dark going to come to the light. We definitely going to find out. It's not something that's going to stay hidden forever. We're going to find out. All right? That's definitely going to be found out. Right? So, Cassie, man, she's giving us a whole lot, bro. And remember, this is just victim number one, y'all. They got to call all these witnesses and stuff, man. Man, bro. Crazy work. Crazy work, y'all. To find all those victims and go through all those victims, all their victim testimony. Crazy. Crazy work, y'all. Man, bro. And they got to go through all the witnesses for Cassie. You guys not thinking about that. Think about all the witnesses they got to go through just for Cassie. All those witnesses just for Cassie. All these people Cassie naming. You know what I'm saying? Man, bro. Shout out to Incognito Money Management in the Cash App with the donation. He says great coverage and conversation. Salute, brother. Shout out to Ashley Matthews in the Cash App with the $20 donation. She says keep cooking, Ticket. You got she said you got on the 85-inch TV. You already know. Salute to Ashley. You already know what it is. You already know. Salute. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, this thing is just sad, man. Uh Sad. I mean, that's all you can really say about it. You know, you never want to see anybody have to go through this type of stuff in any life where, you know, people are being hurt, people are being um, beaten. You just never want to see that, man. And when you do see it, it bothers you. You know, it bothers you. And this is one of those situations that, yeah, it bothers me. Somebody asked me, do it bother me? Yes, it bothers me. It bothers me to see this man whooping on people's ass like that. That shit bothers me. You know, I don't have no respect for Diddy, man, at all. And so it's just where it stays at. That's where it lies. You know, that dude, man. You talking about poison to the community, man. Pumping poison in the mindsets of these youth. You know, and to have all these people defending the dude who is a savage like that, man. I mean, a dude that puts savage beatings on this girl. What can what can you say? But sit back and just say, man, you know, wow, man. Just sit back and just think like this nigga was beating her everywhere they went, just beating on her ass. Now think about you just a punching bag for a guy. That's crazy work. You're a punching bag for a guy. That's crazy work. You know? And don't stop letting people tell y'all he's not being charged with the B. He is. It's right there on page 1 of the indictment. It's right there. Let me tell y'all this right now. It's right here on page 1 of the indictment. And Jonathan Ottie's going to take the stand, y'all. From what I'm hearing, he allegedly is going to take the stand. I heard they said Tisha reported that. But when Cassie said his name, they going to call him. I think that's why they pushed his date back. They strategically pushed his date back. They going to call him. You better believe the feds got him on line 1. And then he did that interview last night on the news. Yeah. You had I'll Be Sure did that interview on the news. Yeah. They going to call him. He definitely getting a call. That I can guarantee you he getting a call. Guaranteed. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, I can guarantee you he getting a call. He'll be in court. And they going to put him on the stand and get him to testify against Puff. And y'all going to watch it right here in front of the world. You know? And so, you know, this is what happens when you do dirt in life, man. When you do dirt in life, you do people dirty, man. You shit all over people, man. You don't have no respect for nobody, man. This is what happens, yo. This is how you get dealt with in real life, though. You know, God bring that judgment upon you in your life. Now, let's talk about what else is going on, right? Let's talk about that, y'all. Okay? Now, let me see. Let me see, guys. Let me see. Let me see. Here we go. All right, so now we got another update. All right, you guys. So now this is crazy, y'all. This shit is crazy. So Cassie said that Diddy will put the pills in vitamin C bottle in the sink in New York. All those, drug pills. Cassie said Diddy that she would buy. Diddy will put those pills in a vitamin C bottle on the sink in the New York apartment. Cassie said he said you can take him. Cassie said he had doctors who would write the scripts in the name of an assistant or in my name, Cassie said. The prescriptions, you know what I'm saying? The government says your brother's birthday party in Connecticut in 2013. What happened? Cassie says my mother told me someone was taking pictures of me. I went and punched her. She said I went and punched him in his head. Right? Again, Cassie says, my mother told me someone was taking pictures of me. I went and punched him in the head, right? Uh, the government says you testified your relationship with Sean ended in 2018. How was your health? Question mark. Cassie says, and shout out to Inner City. Salute to them. Cassie says, I was sleepwalking. I had PTSD. The defense says, objection. The judge says, overruled. The judge does not like, I'm going to repeat myself again. The judge does not like Diddy's team at all. He don't like them at all. He see through Diddy's team. He ain't giving Diddy's team none of these objections. So the government said, what's this? Cassie said, that's a photo of my front door in 2018. The government said, publish it to the jury. Why is there a knife there? Cassie says Sean was coming around a lot, so I had it. So Cassie started keeping a knife because Diddy, who been beating up on her all these years, she said started coming around. So the government says August 2018, what happened? Cassie says we were having a closure conversation. Her and Diddy were having a closure conversation at a restaurant in Malibu. He was trying to convince me to go to Burning Man. The government says, were you seeing anyone? Cassie says she was seeing her husband now. Cassie says she was seeing her husband that she's with now. Man, crazy. Cassie said she was seeing her husband that she's got now. Y'all know what it's about to hit right here. Right? Y'all know what it's about to hit. So she said my now husband is who she was seeing at that time. Right? The government says what happened? Cassie says Sean came to my house and R-worded me on my living room floor. His eyes were black. She said his eyes were black. It was like taking something from you. The government said, you cried? What did Sean do? Cassie said he continued and he finished inside of me. Diddy squeezed inside of her. So she said Diddy R-worded her and squeezed inside of her. Then he got up and left. The government says, did you ever have sex with him again? Cassie said yes, voluntarily. We had a good night. I went back to his house. The government said, can you explain why you did that after he R-worded you? Cassie said, we had been together for 10 years. Wow. She letting it all out. This how y'all know. Let me tell you something. These statements, this is how y'all know Cassie's not lying. There is no way. Let me repeat this for y'all again. I want everybody to understand this. There is no way Cassie's coming out and saying all these things about herself if she's out here lying. There ain't no way. She could have took the $30 million and walked away. And nobody would have known any of this stuff that she's saying in court today. She could have took that money and saved herself from all this extra embarrassment. All of it. All of it. To whoever asked about the videotapes, they played them in court already. They played them in court to the jury and to the what you call it. They played them in court. Crazy work, man. Crazy work, bro. That's why the judge says, look, that makes it even less of a reason why she would lie. She already got the money. She has less motivation to come out here and completely humiliate herself and embarrass herself if she's lying. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through this public humiliation after you already got $30 million if you lying? Dude broke that woman, man. But he didn't kill her. And she found a way. And so Diddy, man, that's disgraceful, bro. I'm telling you, man, I can never stand behind any dude like that, bro. Ever, man. I can never stand behind no dude like that, dog. And that's just on everything I love. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, man. Nigga beat on a woman like that all the time, and then she finally fight back, and niggas want to talk about her, man. Come on, bro. What we doing, man? Where we at with it? Shout out to Jersey Rick. He said you can't praise the Lord and worship the devil. Yeah, you can't do that at the same time. Shout out to Space 8 Terrell. He said salute. He said the demon slayer. This evil needs to be slayed. Man, bro. This is a special type of evil that Diddy walking with. Salute to y'all for the donations too. I appreciate everybody. Yeah, that's a special type of demon that need to be dealt with Sean Diddy Combs, man. He got a special type of demon on him. Straight up, bro. To do the type of things that's being described, I mean, bro, savagery. So the government says, who did you stay in touch with? Cassie says, most people, though I pulled away. The government says, what did you message Sean about after that? Cassie said, just checking in. The government said, what did he send you? Cassie said that he had iPads full of images. Get him his money. Wow. 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 Then he told that girl he had iPads full of photos. Get him his money. That's crazy. Crazy, bro. And if you're Diddy, you're sloppy. Why would you put all this stuff on text? You thought you had this much control over this woman that this would never come out? Bro, that stuff is all in the phone company, bro. Once you send those messages in the phone company forever, bro. They in the phone company forever, bro. Those messages ain't never coming back. Once you hit send, it's over with, Playboy. Once you hit send, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Once you hit send, you can cancel it. Unbelievable work, man. And imagine the security guard that refused to take the payoff. Straight up. The security guard that refused to take the payoff, man. Think about that, y'all. He could have took the payment and disappeared forever. He refused to do it. And because of that, you have that video. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Seeing Cassie on that phone and how she looked at Diddy when he came down that hall and that nigga dropped them bags. Look at Cassie on the phone, y'all. She on the hall phone. You can see her right there beside her. She's crying. She was on the hall phone. She seen Diddy come back down the hall. This girl seen a ghost, nigga. This nigga dropped the bag and started tightening up his towel again. Man, these niggas crazy as hell, man. He literally dropped the bag and started tightening up his towel around his waist. Man. Crazy word. Crazy word, man. So salute to everybody for tapping on in, man. And we gonna keep going, man. We got more testimony left from Cassie. Oh, bro. This man, Puff, man. Man. Whoa. Yeah, man. Yeah, It's saddening. You know, it's sad. It's sickening to see a dude get away with that type of stuff, man. You know. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, crazy work, man. Crazy work. Somebody said, I wonder what Young Miami was really doing. $250,000 a month. Man, after hearing about Cassie, man, bro, people been talking about that all over social media. Like, what the hell was Young Miami doing? if Diddy had Cassie doing that, what in the blue hell was Young Miami doing? Is what people talking about online. Everybody was talking about that online, y'all. That's something everybody was talking about. Everybody talking about that. People kept saying that Cassie stayed quiet. You can't. Yeah, man, it's crazy, yo. You know, yo, y'all hit the subscribe button, man. Hey, we we like 10. No, we like 25 subscribers from 203,000. So y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all come on in here, man. Can we get 25 subscribers in the next minute? Because I know 25 of y'all are not subscribed. So we down to 22. All we need is 22 subscribers. Salute to everybody, man. That's subscribing to the channel, man. Tapping in. Y'all know what it is, man. Appreciate all of y'all. You're a liar, sir. This man says she admitted she liked getting pissed on. That's a lie. She said she didn't. How's your name stay prayed up and you stay lying, brother? She literally said she didn't like it, bro. What is you talking about, dog? Bro, your name is stay prayed up, bro, and you're out here telling lies, man. You out here telling devilish lies, man. You're sad, brother. You're sad, brother. Your name is stay prayed up, and you are. She literally said in court yesterday she did not like it. You said not Cassie. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? You said not Cassie. Who you talking about, dog? Who you talking about? Y'all tell me who he said he talking about. Oh, Young Miami said that? No. She said that for real? Crazy work, man. I hope she didn't say that, man. No, man. Wow. Crazy work, y'all. That's crazy work. Man. She said on the interview? Wow. Wow. So, the government says money back for what? Cassie says that Diddy threatened her with the sex videos and said he wanted the money back. Man, this nigga Diddy, man. Bro, this nigga Diddy is horrible, bro. She said Diddy said he wanted the money back for her personal trainer, for her now husband to be my trainer. The government says, what did you write back? Cassie says, do you want me to tell you the truth? It's much deeper than the iPads. There was abuse, more than freak offs, is what Cassie says she wrote back. Cassie says, there was a time I couldn't take the pain. I tried to walk out in traffic. My husband wouldn't let me. I had trauma therapy. The government says, did you write? Cassie says, a book with chapters. My mom helped. The government says, what did you want with the book? Cassie said that Sean read it. That girl really loved Diddy, man. Diddy did that girl terrible, man. She really cared about Puff, man. Damn, Diddy did that girl like that, man. The government says, what pain did Sean put you through? Cassie says, shame, to carry things that were shameful for him. I took on a lot of responsibility for that. I should have never have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22. It was expected of me. I felt terrible, she said. Man, bro, this girl lived in her whole 20s doing freak offs, fucking with this nigga, messing with this dude. This is crazy, man. She spent her whole 20s, y'all, messing with this clown. Caught up in this freak off foolishness, man. Wow, bro. Wow. Man. Hey, bro, Diddy might be better off just being locked up. I don't think he ever gonna want to be out to this, man. Bro, how is he ever gonna walk in society ever again? He's never gonna be able to walk in society ever again. Not after this. Nah, not after this. Not happening. Shout out to Jeffrey Wells in the Cash App with the donation. Salute to you, Jeffrey Wells. I appreciate you, dog. Salute to you. Man, now they out here reporting on Jonathan Oddie, man. Bro, this is crazy, man. Crazy, bro. Crazy work, man. Shout out to Gerald Johnson with a $100 donation in the Cash App. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Diddy know he ain't right. He know he ain't right. That's the most important part. He know he ain't right. He know it. Man, bro. Dang. Wow. I got a feeling Suge's name gonna come back up in this too, y'all. I just got this feeling Suge's name is gonna come back up in this. I got the feeling, y'all. I got the feeling. Man. What the hell? Man. All right, let me see what this says, man. Cassie felt terrible, she said, because, you know, this man had on all that stuff on tape and was using it to control her. Now, the government asked Cassie, how did you get chapters to Sean? Cassie says, through my attorney. And I reached out to KK, Christina Coram. I asked her if he read it. She said it was not taken seriously. The government said, how much did you ask for the book? Cassie said she asked for $30 million for that book. The government says, did you sue? Cassie said November of 2023. And let me tell y'all this again. They're bringing this all out in court right now. So it said that Diddy said he wanted money for the trainer, that he paid for that trainer because Cassie ended up getting with him. Cassie, you know, says she wrote a book. You know what I'm saying? Uh, with chapters. She said her mom helped her write the book. The government says, "What did you want with the book?" She said, "I wanted Sean to read it." The government said, "What pain did Sean put you through?" Cassie said, "The shame to carry the things that were shameful for him. I took on a lot of responsibility for that, and I never should have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22 years old. It was expected of me. I felt terrible." The government says, "How did you get chapters to Sean?" Cassie said, "Through my attorney. And I reached out to Christina Coram. I asked her if he read it. She said that it wasn't taken seriously by Diddy. The government says, how much did you ask for the book?" Right? Cassie said she asked for $30 million for that book. The government said, "Did you sue him?" Cassie said in November of 2023. The government said, "What happened with the lawsuit?" Diddy paid Cassie $20 million. Cassie said it was settled for $20 million in 24 hours. I told y'all. The government said, "Why are you testifying in this trial?" Cassie said, "I can't carry this anymore. What's wrong is wrong. I tried to," she said, "I tried to like people like they were disposable, escorts, anybody." Man, bro. She said she couldn't carry it no more, man. She got no benefit. Cassie got $20 million in 24 hours. Man, she told it in court. That man paid her $20 million to keep that shit silent. Now, y'all make that make sense. $20 million in 24 hours. He paid her just to keep that story silent. Think about what I'm saying now, y'all. Crazy work going on around here, man. And Diddy, all over, he's showing y'all that he paid her $20 million after ignoring the book. He did that. All right. And so, hold on one second, you guys. So the government says, "Why are you testifying in this trial?" Cassie said, "I can't carry it anymore." She said that what's wrong is wrong. I tried people like they were disposable, escorts, anybody. She said, I tried people like, man, that's crazy, man. The government said, "How many freak offs did you have with Sean?" Cassie said, "It's impossible to know. Hundreds of freak offs," she said. The government says, "After you broke up with Sean, did you ever do a freak off?" Cassie said, "No." The government said, "No further questions." Diddy is buried, man. So the person who said Diddy said she voluntarily had sex with Diddy, you're not listening. She came out and said that she initially said accepted his thoughts of having a freak off. You're not listening to what happened. Then, after certain incidents during the freak offs, she said she didn't want to do it anymore. And Diddy started beating her and telling her she had to do it. Are you not listening, family of five? Do you not have brains? Do you not have any common sense? Do you not have any thoughts of a common sense of a brain? She also showed the court text messages today where she told him she didn't want to do it no more. The nigga threatened her. He threatened her with exposing her with the videos that he had. What are you talking about? You're not listening to the details in this case. Cassie said when Diddy first came to her when she was 19 about doing freak offs, Diddy introduced her to oral sex and freak offs. She said she agreed to do it at first because she wanted to make him happy. She said after she was being demoralized, peed on, and things like that, she said that she told Diddy she didn't want to do it anymore. She was getting urinary tract infections frequently. It was burning her. She wasn't feeling right. She was passing out, having all these bad episodes. That's why Jonathan Oddie said that he went and got the little secret camcorder to video her because he said that one time Diddy freaked out. They was because she was passed out and they didn't know what was going on with her. So he bought that little camcorder just in case she passed away or something like that. He had evidence that he did not unalive her, right? You got to think about this. So she wrote Diddy and told him. She wrote Diddy and she told Diddy that she didn't want to do it no more. And Diddy told her she was going to do it. And she also showed how this nigga was yanking her around, beating her ass, and telling her she was going to do it. What is you talking about? Y'all come in here and say the craziest things in this chat room. And I'm going to catch you. I'm going to catch, because y'all don't listen to the details. You don't listen to the details. Now, here comes the cross-examination. This is going to get the most devilish, but they're going to use a woman on this. People think they're going to put Brian Steele up there. They ain't putting Brian Steele on this woman. They're going to use a woman on her. So they got a sidebar before the cross-examination. And I'm just telling y'all this. Y'all sitting up here and don't really understand. You're not listening to all the details. You have to understand all the details in that situation. Period. Let's just keep it 100, man. You know? And she really loved Diddy. That's the bad part about it. She loved Diddy. Diddy didn't give a fuck about this girl. He used her to fulfill his sexual desires. He didn't care about that girl. We're going to just tell it real. Let's just tell it real. You know what I mean? Straight up. Right? Yeah. It's sad, man. It's sad. You know? It's sad, y'all.
First time ordering off Taobao. Let's see if the product's not.
Who the hell? Oh, okay, my bad. I just hit that jump. Yeah, man. So as I told y'all, I'm just being real with y'all. They got a sidebar real quick before they start cross-examination. They're going to go for another 40 minutes, you guys. So we got a sidebar with the lawyer before they go to cross-examination. Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. You know? Again, man, you feel bad about a person who been treated like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you finally fight back, and then people say, oh, well, she hit them too. Man, get out of here, man. Crazy work.
God's plan, man. You understand? To let people see, because a lot of people wasn't believing that this stuff even existed, brother. A lot of people didn't even think that this was that, you know, Cassie was telling lies, Gene been telling lies, Lil Rob been telling lies, everybody lying on Diddy. But Diddy told the truth. Diddy's the only one told the truth. He said, y'all just keep watching. The truth will soon come out. And you see what came out? My man, he punching that little girl in the head. Yo, you don't even kick a dog, man. You don't even kick a dog, bro. You kicking that little girl like she's a dog, man. It was crazy, man. Any man that has a sister, any man that has a friend that's a girl, any man that has a child, you understand, who saw that, if they wasn't appalled, if they wasn't like, yo, I want to beat the, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that on television, man, or on the internet or YouTube, but any man who saw that wish they could put their hands on Diddy at that time, bro. That shit was appalling, bro. It was crazy, man. And when I saw it, you know, I could imagine what Kim went through. I could imagine what Misa went through. You understand? It was just crazy, man, for that dude to do that to that girl like that, man.
I can't believe what I seen, man. I still can't believe what I seen in that video, man. Like, the way he was kicking her was like he was kicking a field goal, man.
Bruh, when I saw him run down first of all, when I saw the white towel, I got flashbacks of him and Ja Rule running out the room. Of course, they had, what's her name, Sarah and the other girl in there, but I had that flashback. And then when I seen him run down the hallway, I had flashbacks when the same gang was chasing him. I was like, what the hell? And then when he put his hands on it, no jokes aside, because I know it's not no laughing matter, man. This just was appalling, brother. And
Coco, you wrong. I'm not gonna let you talk about Gene like that. You're wrong. You said F Gene, he fake too. You was adamant in stopping it. Either sit your $5 ass down before I make change. What you mean? Gene was not working with Diddy when Cassie was there. You all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. Roger Bonds was the security guard working on Cassie's watch. You all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. Roger Bonds was the one working with Cassie. Cassie said his name in court today. Roger Bonds. Not Gene Deal. Gene Deal was there when Diddy, before Cassie. When Gene left, Cassie came into Diddy's life. When Gene was bodyguarding Diddy, his name was Puffy. Now, make sure that apology is as loud as your criticism, Coco. Make sure your apology is as loud as that criticism. How in the blue hell you gonna sit up here and bump your gums about something and be 100% wrong? 100% wrong. I told y'all, I catch everything. 1,000% wrong. And go sit up here. He didn't say he saw it. You're lying. He said he saw the tape, the videotape. Wrong. He did not say he saw it. You're a liar. He said he saw the tape of Diddy putting his hands on her. You want me to rewind it? Gene Deal wasn't even working with Diddy when Cassie was there. What's wrong with you, man? You loud and you wrong. Typical like some black folks be acting. We ought to be, some of us ought to be ashamed of ourselves. Crazy as hell. He was talking about the videotape that we all saw. Of Cassie getting the beats put on her. What are you talking about? Coco?
I don't even know how they could even play that on television, on YouTube like that, and without even putting up some sensitive, you know how they put the sensitive subject matter up? That was crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it, man. I mean, because like I said, I mean, man, you've been doing interviews for years and you've been telling me stories about Diddy, but to actually see the visual.
You know, so like, bruh, I wouldn't have never allowed him to do no shit like that around me. That's why he probably never did nothing like that. You understand? When I got the aftermath, when they told me to go over to St. Luke's Hospital, because Puff was over there in the hospital, that was the aftermath. You understand? When Kim cut his wrist up with that corkscrew, his right wrist. They got pictures on the internet with his wrist banded up. Kim did that. You understand? The aftermath of them being in the Swiss hotel and he roughing her up and like he playing fight with her, and then she runs out the presidential suite and we got the big room in there at the Swiss hotel, and then I'll be like, yo, you all right? And she like, yeah, I'm all right. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? You good? She like, yeah, good. And then she go back in the room with Puff, Diddy, Brother Love, whatever he call his name is. So, you know, it's always the aftermath or something like that, bro. But in front of you, only people who commit crimes around people who commit crimes. You know, Puff know who to do that stuff around. And that was crazy, man. When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it, because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail. I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel, like, because he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway, when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling an emergency type situation when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bro. And then now Homeland Security is involved. I told you, everybody talking about, yo, they ain't got nothing on him. His dumbass son come out, make this whole tape, you understand, about what they ain't got or what they, man, listen to me. Homeland Security looked at Cassie information. They interviewed her. Yo, when was the time he hit you? He hit you before? Yeah, we was at the hotel. He blacked.
Yo, I'm not finna block Coco because she was wrong. She's still a sister. I still got love for her. You know, I just had to tell her what was right. You know, she just said she must have misunderstood that. I'm not finna demonize that girl for that. I just told her what the real was. You know what I'm saying? That's all. She cool. You know, ain't no, because there ain't nobody perfect. Shout out to Andrew Green and PayPal with the donation. Salute to you, brother. Ain't nobody walking on this earth perfect. You know what I'm saying? We all got to remember that. Everybody got their flaws. Everybody make mistakes. You know, I just told her that what she said wasn't right. That don't mean I dislike her. She's a beautiful sister. So, you know, she cool. You know what I'm saying? She cool. You know, ain't no biggie. You feel me? Yeah, she ain't like some of the other cats. Some of the other cats, they unbearable. You know what I'm saying? They unbearable. But because I can understand what she misunderstood, Gene, and what he was saying. Because some people do get that misunderstood. You know, the time frames and stuff. But that's why I'm here to pay that close attention to all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But she cool. She ain't got no beef with her. She cool with me. You know what I mean? Y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button as y'all come on in. Let's move on, y'all. So now Cassie is being cross-examined, you guys. Cassie is being cross-examined right now in the court, right? She's being cross-examined. Now, let's get into this cross, okay? Hold on. Let's get into this cross. Somebody just... What? Yeah, let's get into this cross, man. All right? We're going to get into a cross. All right, so here comes a cross-examination, y'all. As the jury was out of the courtroom, the judge says, why don't we pull off the cross until tomorrow? The government says we'd like to start now to be sure to finish. The judge wanted to call it off. The judge says to Diddy's lawyer, the judge says to Diddy's team, Diddy's lawyer, he asked her, she says that she'll be finished by the end of the week. All right. So the judge says no cross today. The judge says we'll make up the time in other ways. So they're not going to cross-examine Cassie. Excuse me. The judge says that get the jury. The witness can be excused. The judge said yes. So Cassie leaves. Here comes the jury. The judge says, sorry to bring you out only to send you home. Don't read anything about the case. Have a great evening. All rise. The jury leaves. The judge says, Mrs. Comney, the government says, here's what the defense sent us about Rule 412. The government says, we believe we had agreed that other sexual acts by the witness were not admissible, but we understand they intend to cross-examine her about other relationships with texts about sex, about Mrs. Ventura, FUC blanking someone else. Why is that necessary? The government says, I don't want to read these into record, so I'll hand the copies up. The judge says, defense. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Anglifo, said these are messages about jealousy and the vocabulary of, are you effing that person? That's fair game. This is the real world. Way people express hurt is what the judge said, right? So hold on, you guys. Let me see something. Let me get y'all some more information. Hold on. Right? So Cassie, for you guys who don't know, she got $20 million from Diddy in 24 hours. She sued for $30 million. She got $20 million in the settlement the next day. Right? That's for everybody who don't know. Also, Jonathan Adi was mentioned today. That sex worker. He was mentioned, and he probably will be taking a stand. This is going to be a crazy situation, you guys. Jonathan Adi taking a stand, man, is going to be insane, bro, for this type of situation, man. It is going to be absolutely insanity in the courthouse if Jonathan Adi is brought in there in cuffs and chains. Crazy work, y'all. Crazy, crazy, crazy work. Crazy work, bro. I can't even think of more superlatives than to put that like that. You know what I mean? Man, bro. So that the other sex workers, the co-conspirators they named, all these people are probably going to be brought up, right? All of them going to be brought up in this trial as far as questioned and all these other things, man. Me personally, like I said before, you know, Diddy's lawyers, man, bro, for them to get around that video, for them to get around those pictures, those text messages, and those beatings, and the control and the coercion of Cassie, is going to be crazy. Now, let me let y'all know what just happened, right? The government says the rule requires that this be sealed. The judge says let's proceed without specifics. Diddy's lawyer says saying, are you effing that person is just a vulgar way of asking, are you cheating? Question mark. Both sides opened on infidelity. This is not 412, is what Diddy's lawyer says. We're going to find out right now. We're going to find out right now. We're going to find out right now. Man, bro. Crazy work, everybody. Crazy work. Crazy work. Man. So, yeah, man, man, dog. Let me tell y'all what happens right now. Hold on. They saying something in the courthouse. Hold on one second. because they're still saying something in the courthouse about this message. They're trying to fight over this message, you guys. Hold on. If they can allow this to be put in court. So I'll be back, y'all.